Hello everyone, this is me, English teacher Sauravasti from Mount Literacy School Jhansi, and in our previous video in part 1 of Evans Tries an O level, we completed up till the entrance of McLary in the Oxford prison, and then the exam was going to be started. So now let's begin with the part 2 of the same chapter where Jackson retrieves McLeary and searches him. Later, Jackson finds a paper knife which was confiscated by him because they were knowing that Evans can do anything just to escape from the prison. So that's why that knife was taken away from McLeary. And during this process, few minutes were passed on as the exam was going to be started from 9:15, but now it was delayed and the exam begins a few minutes late than scheduled after filling the index number, center number, etc. Evans' insistence that he can't concentrate with Stephens hovering in the cell. Having overheard this through the receiver, the governor orders Stephens to be out from that place. Because they were knowing this thing that Evans will not be able to give his examination because again and again he was getting distracted. So the governor orders Stephens to leave, admitting that they might be overdoing it. The exam begins at 9:25 am. So here, within 15 minutes of the start of the exam, 9:40 am, the governor receives a call from the examination board for a correction in the question paper. This puts the jail officials in suspicion. The governor tries to cross-check the authenticity of the call. The necessary changes were made in the question paper then. And here the phone rings again. The magistrate's court needed a prison van and a couple of prison officers for a remand case. The governor wonders if it is a hoax but shakes off the idea because he was knowing this thing that he was just thinking too much at that time. So he just thought now nothing will happen and everything will be fine and the exam will be conducted properly. Throughout the examination, Stephens closely supervises the cell by peering through the peephole at frequent intervals of 5 seconds every minute, a task he finds entirely pointless, given that Evans has barely moved and McLeary silently reading his issue of the Church Times with one finger hooked under his clerical collar. Now the exam was going on smoothly. After some time, complaining of the cold inside the cell, Evans gets himself covered with a blanket. Though skeptic Stephens doesn't report the matter to Jackson as the prison is cold, still Stephens decides to return to 1 minute intervals at the peephole. And then again he found that Evans was still thinking and the pen was in his mouth and he was sitting straight and just admiring the wall. At 11:20 am, the governor listens as McLeary informs Evans that there are only 5 minutes remaining. 3 minutes before the end of examination at 11:22, Jackson receives the governor's call asking Stephens to escort McLeary to the prison gates and to personally ensure that the door is locked on Evans. Finally, at 11:25 am, the exam is over and the Evans is asked to submit his sheets. And now all were thinking that everything has been completed very nicely. So finally at 11:25 am, Stephens escorts McCleary to the prison's main gates, bursting with pride that the governor had chosen him and not Jackson for the task. As the two men walk, Stephens observes that the Scottish accent sounds thicker than before, and he had suddenly grown slimmer. After McCleary has gone, Stephens returns to Evans' cell to check on him, as he was thinking that just to get confirmed that everything is quite well, he just went back to the cell instead of going to the cafe to have coffee. So now, there was a twist in the story when again Stephens peers into Ivan's cell and is met with a horrifying sight. McCleary is lying in Ivan's chair and is drenched in blood. The blood is seeping through his beard, short hair, and clerical collar. Stephens shouts for Jackson. McCleary weakly presses a white linen handkerchief to his bleeding head, clutching the German exam in one hand. McCleary murmurs that he knows where Evans have gone. So right now, here, McCleary, the one who was full of blood, was shouting that I know that where Evans have ran. The prison explodes with noise and activity. Sirens wail, officers shout, and heavy metal doors clang into that place. When the governor arrives, the wounded McCleary shows a photocopied sheet cleverly superimposed over the last page of the question paper containing hints about Evans' whereabouts. Now, after getting that question paper full of hints, the governor tries to translate the hints from the sheet. And he tried, and Detective Superintendent Carter also arrives in a fast-moving police car. The injured McCleary leaves with Mr. Carter. The detective superintendent, as McCleary suggested, they drove to the Elsfield Way. And here, they all just started going towards the same place. So here, in this part second, we just came to know about the escape of Evans, where he has ran again from the prison. So that's why the officers who were there in the prison, they used to call him Evans the Break. And now once again he have proved himself. So now they have started following him just to get him back again in the prison. So here we saw that now Evans have again ran away from the prison and McCleary is badly hurt by Evans, and officers are too sad, as well as governor and detective. They all are now behind him, are following him just to get him back to the prison. So now students, in the next part we will study about Evans, that how he was caught and where he was found and then what happened. So thank you so much for today. Now we will meet again with the next video with the next part of the same chapter, Evans tries an O-level part 3. Thank you so much.